Well, good morning.
Good morning.
So we are out at our solar arrays, and we actually came out here a week ago to do this project, and we were completely unsuccessful. So
we want to beef up these arrays. You can see this T-post right here in between them with a bunch of ratchet straps. That was kind of a makeshift in the rain, trying to get these in because we had some storm coming in. And I have nightmares of these arrays blowing over. So I've kind of thought about a way to beef these up and make them even stronger than the ratchet straps and T-posts. And I think we have a good game plan today.
Right, and we actually came out earlier and we had to try to pull one of these T-posts out of the ground. When we came out a week ago, we tried and it budged like maybe an inch, and that was all we could get it. But today we were successful because we've had a lot of rain, and so the ground is a little bit softer, and now we can actually do what we need to do. And also Levi needs to do some welding and no more fire restrictions in the area, so we can actually do that safely.
Yeah, the ground is nice and wet. I have no problems at all, I think, welding. So, all right, let's get these ratchet straps off and get the next one out.
All right.
All right, so we're here at the first T-post, actually the second T-post, but the first one we're going to pull out on camera. And you can see they're kind of at an angle. And the reason I did that is so that I could ratchet them back towards the arrays. And that way the T-post has a little bit of strength to help hold these from shaking so much. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw a nice big 2x12 or 10 down. And then we're going to, I have a board underneath there to kind of get it at the same angle as this T-post is. And we're going to take our farm jack and we're going to set it alongside of that, and we just hooked a chain and used the farm jack to pick it up. This is basically like a homemade version of a T-post puller. They make things just specifically for this, but since we have these farm jacks, we might as well use them. So oh, that's a golden eagle on it, though.
There it goes.
These farm jacks worked really good until we picked up the shipping containers with them.
That is a true story.
A little bit out of their weight limit.
Well, we use two, so then it's...
Yeah.
Whew. Glad that's done.
It'd be nice to get these back again.
Yeah, we kept forgetting where all of our ratchet straps were.
We had to buy new ones to haul the stuff for the house.
Yeah.
All right, so now we got those T-posts out. What we're gonna do is level down each end of the solar array. And what I wanna do is I wanna line up these poles with this bar that goes all the way across. These are all in a straight line because these poles are all in a straight line. So I would like to have these new poles be in a straight line as well. So what we're going to do is just level down the center of this pole, and we're going to put a stake in the ground, and then we're going to run some strings from end to end.
All right, so we got all those holes dug. Having the tractor and having that auger makes it so much easier. We would not be able to get these holes dug without it. Now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna scoop up all of the dirt that we got out of the holes with the auger, and we're gonna just put it into the bucket of the tractor. This was one mistake we made when we did the raise. We left the dirt around and it just created just a really big muddy mess, and we do have more rain coming. So we're just gonna get this cleaned up. Wasn't thinking you meant the bucket of the tractor. Yeah.
So we grabbed some concrete and our poles that we had cut, and these big poles come 21 feet long. So we just had them cut into 3 pieces that are equal length, so about 7 feet. And what we're gonna do now is we're gonna weld a piece of rebar on the bottom of them. So I think I'm gonna come up about 1 foot or so and weld a piece of rebar. And I think I'm just gonna make it about 6 inches. And this is just to help prevent the pole from settling in the concrete or spinning after it's all set up. So just a little extra step. It probably doesn't actually need to happen, but I just feel better if it is. All right, here's the last one. All right, so this last pipe here to make the 4 is actually scrap left over from building the arrays, and I kind of use that as inspiration of how to figure out how to beef these up. So we're gonna go ahead, these 3 that they already cut to 7 foot, we're gonna leave them at 7 foot because the arrays go up a hill, and so one array is actually a little taller than the other one. The last hole that we dug, we're not going to have to go up as tall as the first 3. So we just went and measured it. It's actually 73 inches to the bottom of the hole, and that's level with that bar that I'm trying to get everything level from. So we're going to go ahead and cut this last one to 73. We'll still weld that piece of rebar on this one as well.
Part of me thinks that we should like make this safe again. At least the wind's blowing in the correct direction. So we're using our post and pipe level, make sure that we're plumb, and then we are using just some old pieces of wood that we have and some clamps to hold it there, and then we're going to go ahead and just start filling the hole up with our concrete. All right, so we got that first post in the ground, went really well. It's nice and plumb, and we actually had to use a little extra concrete because that was our first hole that we dug, and it kind of got a little out of whack, I guess you could say. So it was a little bit big, but the rest of these holes are really just the size of the auger. And so we're gonna get this plumbed and get it full and hopefully get the rest of these done tonight.
Okay, so we want to go ahead and use up the rest of this concrete, but we want to fill these poles up. So we went and cut this old Tupperware container. We cut a hole in it. We're just going to set it on here and then have one of us hold it, and the other one will just slowly start scooping some concrete in there. Hopefully it doesn't take us too long. Like a charm.
A funnel would work better, but we don't have one. Yeah, I know. Better than my hand. Boom, to the top.
Nice.
I actually did not think that was going to be
I
enough.
know, neither did I.
It's a very satisfying sound.
It is.
This is the first time we've done a project with concrete and we were right on our amount. Yeah, there you go. It's a good idea. Nice.
Well, good morning, guys. It's the next day and all of our posts are set now, cured, and we're going to go ahead and start fabricating our brackets that are going to hold these arrays to give them a little more stability. We have 3 arrays and we're going to use 2 pieces of this angle iron here. I have 2 big pieces left over from when we built the arrays, so I think they're going to work perfect for bolting these arrays down to these poles that we have. And I said bolt. I would love to just weld it and make it permanent, but these arrays are actually adjustable. So what I want to do is I want to use a bolt. So I want to weld a bracket to the poles that we set and then bolt those brackets to the arrays so that if there's a storm coming or for the whole winter, we can just bolt these down and they won't move at all. And then if we do want to adjust it, once we have the house, We haven't had to adjust these arrays at all. Our batteries are completely full all summer long, so I anticipate us not having to adjust them. But if there is a big demand on the house once we move in and we need to be able to adjust these to increase our power that's coming in, we can go ahead and do that. And so I want to make these so they're not permanent. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. So I have some sawhorses set up. I'm just gonna start fabricating these. We need about 3-foot pieces, 2 of them for each side. And I'll show you guys how we're gonna do that. So we need 12 total. So I got the grinder out, let's just start cutting. Mr. Man, what are you doing, buddy? Come here. Did you find your Frisbee? Do you want to play Frisbee? Okay, give me 10 minutes, okay? Look at that. Oh, these are my good gloves. Did not think it would burn through there that fast. Let me go grab my welding gloves. All right, here is a scrap chunk of those pipes. So what I'm gonna do is just set it on here. Find a nice area. And then just like that, just that little bit of a radius on there. We'll just take the grinder, cut that out, and then I'll weld this on the pole and then weld this to the pole. And I think that's gonna make it super strong. Then, of course, this end, we'll drill a hole in, and that's what we'll bolt to the arrays. All right, so I'll just clean that up a little bit. Not much though. Then we'll see how it fits.
Well, hey guys, so while Levi is outside working on beefing up our solar array, I have a little project that I wanted to take care of. So while we took our little break, we went for a hike and we found some wild rose bushes, and they were full of these amazing rose hips. And I've tasted rose hips in the past and I really didn't think they were very good, but these ones were really, really tasty. So we decided to harvest from all the different bushes, and I'm gonna make a traditional Scottish rosehip jelly. I've never made this before. Luckily it makes just a small batch so we can see whether or not it's something we enjoy. But yeah, I'm really excited. It's always fun when you can like forage and use the stuff that you find. I need to prep these a little bit, and first thing I have to do is wash them. All right, so I have our rose hips washed, and the next thing I need to do is I need to trim them up. So this one is a good example. It has a stem on it, and then it has the little spot where the blossom was. So I'm gonna cut the little blossom end off and pull the stem off. And then, just because I'm a little paranoid, I'm gonna cut them in half and just make sure that they look really nice and clean inside. And if it does, I'm gonna add it to our bowl. We need 450 grams of the rose hips for this recipe, so I've got a lot of work ahead of me. that took me a while, I'm not gonna lie. But I have our 450 grams of rose hips. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just put them in my food processor, and we are just gonna kind of pulse them until they're pretty chopped up. This recipe, we actually drain overnight and just kind of let all the juices drip out after we cook it. So none of the pulp or the seeds will be going into the jelly. So we're gonna go ahead and get our lid on, and then we're just gonna do some pulses. So now that we have the rose hips kind of pulsed in the food processor, our next ingredient is apples. I am using two different kinds of apples. I'm using some Dyalla apples and some Granny Smith apples. We actually bought these apples, I don't know, a few weeks ago, and they just weren't very good. And so I've been trying to figure out a way to use them, and this is going to be perfect. There is no need to peel or core these apples because, again, this recipe, this jelly will be strained, so none of the solids will be left behind. And we need 1 kilogram of apples. All right, let's see. Okay, so I have my pot here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the apples right into the pot, and then I'm supposed to add just enough water to cover the apples, and then a half of a pint extra of water. So after I added the water to the apples, I brought it up to a boil, and then I reduced it down and let it simmer until the apples are soft, which they are now. I can easily break them apart. So now I'm gonna add all of our rose hips here. All right, so I have let the rose hips cook down for, actually I went longer than the 10 minutes that they suggested. I really want to get like the full flavor and potential out of these rose hips. So now I'm going to transfer it into a bowl with this cloth in there, and then we're going to hang it and let it drain.
Good. That looks like it's perfectly centered of this flat spot and the bottom of that pipe. So a lower level. What you doing, buddy? You bored? Are you bored, Mr. Man? Yeah. We've been playing frisbee. Should be tired. Look at your feet, dude. Look at your feet. Are you digging? All right. All right, got her bolted on. Man, boy did that stiffen this thing up. All right, got our kicker all cut. Fit. I'm gonna get ready to weld it. I went ahead and made a notch out of it. That way it's completely flush. I think that's gonna look really cool. All right, we're down to our last one here. I have the other three completely welded and bolted. I have to do the cross braces on the middle too, but I wanted to go ahead and get all these bolted in case I can't get to those cross braces until later. At least all of the arrays will be back being bolted on, because we are supposed to have some storms coming in tomorrow. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this, but that little welder has worked absolutely beautiful. I don't know if you guys noticed or not, but I'm drilling the holes into these pipes with incremental larger drill bits. So I'm starting off at like a 3/16, and then I'm going up a step, up a step, up a step, up a step, and that's what helped me get through these pieces of steel a lot easier. The bolts are a little bit long. I might go switch those out. They are a 3/8 bolt, but they're just leftover bolts that we had when we built the arrays. All of this stuff here has been leftover stuff that we built the arrays with. I haven't had to buy anything, minus the one pole that I had cut into 7 foot. Other than that, everything else has just been leftover pieces that we didn't use. So I'm super happy. Let's go ahead and weld this up and then jump on those cross braces. That's a tough weld with the sun hitting the inside of my helmet. I cannot see the weld at all.
All right, it's the next morning, and the recipe explicitly says do not squeeze the bag because it'll make it cloudy. But this is what it looked like from the beginning. So I went ahead and squeezed as much of the liquid out of the bag as I could get. And now I need to measure it out. So you have to be pretty specific on the measurement so you know exactly how much sugar to add. So for every pint, you need to add 14 ounces of sugar. I am going to reduce the amount of sugar in this. I don't really care for super sweet jams, and I feel like this already tastes relatively sweet. So I have a half pint here, and I'm just going to measure out how much liquid we have. And I already have my pan on. All right, so we have 1 pint right there. And not quite.
A little half pint.
this is a half pint.
Oh, quarter pint.
Alright, so we ended up with, what, 1?
3 of those and then a half.
Now I gotta figure out the math. So I think we figured it out, and it would be about 24 ounces of sugar. I'm gonna reduce that down. I'm gonna start with actually the 14 ounces, and we'll see kind of how it tastes, and if it still needs a little more sugar, we'll go ahead and add that. So I have my scale, and we're gonna tare it with our bowl, and then I'm using just an organic cane sugar, and then so 1 cup is about just over 7. So we'll go ahead and go with that. And we'll add our sugar. I mean, that looks like so much sugar for such a small amount. And then we also need to add lemon juice. And since I don't know this recipe, so it's actually the juice of a lemon. I don't have a lemon, but I have lemon juice, so we're going to use that. And I am just going to guess. That's about a juice of 1 lemon. So now we're going to bring this to a boil. Make sure all the sugar dissolves. And we need to bring it to a certain temperature. And I think they want us to do 220 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, guys. We actually had multiple boil overs, which is so unfortunate because, well, one, the cooktop will never be the same, and secondly, is we lost a good amount of our jelly here. We are definitely struggling to get up to the 220 degree mark for the jelly, and I know it's probably because I reduced the sugar, but we are slowly getting there. I'm at 213 degrees Fahrenheit right now, so we don't have too much longer, but I thought I'd share our little fail here. All right, there it is. That took quite a while. I would say at least a half an hour, if not longer, and then, you know, a couple of boil overs. So a little sad, but we did the plate test a minute ago, and we both tasted this, and it is actually really delicious, and I will definitely make this again. It's so pretty. So this recipe doesn't call for water bath canning. A lot of what I've read, European countries do a lot of just the kettle method. But we are going to go ahead and we're gonna water bath these 3 jars, and then this is what we will have today, and see how it tastes. I mean, we know it tastes good, but whew, those are hot. And I am going to water bath these for 15 minutes. 10 minutes is the general amount of time, but because of our elevation, we're gonna go an extra 5. Do you want? definitely set. Okay. Cheers.
Really good.
It's really good. I would probably still reduce the sugar
Yeah.
a little bit more.
It's sweet.
It's very sweet. But the flavor is like nothing. I cannot compare it to something. But I feel like, so we love to do like a bacon and brie and orange marmalade sandwich on sourdough. This would be really good in place of the orange marmalade. I think it would be super yummy.
Mm. Do we have brie? Darn.
No. This is really good. I will definitely make this again.
100%. This is really good.
Now we need to go out to the solar arrays because I have not seen it since he finished it. So
And it is getting windy. So perfect.
perfect timing. All right, I'm excited. Wow.
This is Tanya's first look at the solar array since we beefed it up.
That looks so cool. I honestly, I was like super not sure what this was gonna look like, but it really looks so nice. And we could even maybe take spray paint.
Definitely, I
Spray
think we
paint
should
'em black.
spray paint them. Yep. We could do lots of stuff.
And it's super windy right now, you guys. We're having, I mean, gusts up above 30.
Yeah.
And normally these would be kind of like,
Even with the ratchet straps on there.
yeah, they would still move a little bit, but I'm not, I mean, these are solid.
Yeah, they don't move at all. So we're getting like 30-mile-an-hour gusts right now. Let's see. I don't think. I mean, they're not moving at all.
No, they're not. That's pretty awesome. Great job.
Yeah, I'm really happy. When the wind started blowing this morning, normally I'd be like freaking out, looking out the window.
You
going,
would.
oh, should I tighten the ratchet straps up? Should I add another T-post? And so now, never again.
Yeah, he was definitely, he'd wake up in the middle of the night if it was windy and just in a panic. So no more of that, thank goodness.
Wow, so great job on the jam. That was
It's
so good.
jelly.
Jelly, sorry.
I've never made a jelly before, so that was definitely new. I'll use a bigger pot next time so that I don't have the boil over, because I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
we
just
lost
thinking of how
probably
much we
half, right?
lost.
And we are definitely gonna go pick up some brie.
Yes.
That is like one of the best grilled sandwiches, like grilled cheese sandwiches
Yeah.
we have ever made.
Yeah.
And I think it's gonna taste amazing.
With that, I agree.
But I think that's gonna do it for this one.
So we'll see you guys in the next one. Let's go.